I have made it my mission to get platinums in all of the best and hardest games out there, and today I decided to visit the very first installment of one of the best video game franchises out there.
Resident Evil.
Resident Evil is a classic franchise that made survival horror games what they are today. And with the 9th game coming out pretty soon, I decided to revisit the early installments of Resident Evil and get the platinum in them. Resident Evil platinums are very enjoyable to get, as you do get your frustrating moments, but you also get a lot of highs from how good the story gets as you play through each game, with the fun gameplay of just destroying zombies. Resident Evil 1 definitely isn't as action packed as later installments, but is still a great game. The platinum for Resident Evil 1 had been played through the game as both Chris Redfield and Jill Valentine, completing different challenges such as every difficulty, a knife only run, and even complete the game on an invisible enemy mode. And that was exactly as it sounds. There are a total of 45 trophies to get, so let's get started. Just a quick one, if you haven't yet, hit that subscribe button. Now, for my first playthrough I decided to go for the hardest difficulty I could choose, as why not? I'm going to have to do it at some point anyway. And then I got to choose between playing as Chris Redfield or Jill Valentine. And to be honest, the playthroughs aren't massively different, but there are some minor changes such as Jill having more inventory space. But I decided to play as Chris for this playthrough, and so began my first playthrough of Resident Evil 1. Resident Evil. The game starts off with a monologue of Chris telling us that the STARS team of Raccoon City is investigating disappearances in Raccoon Forest. More specifically, they were looking for the Bravo team that went missing. As the cutscene plays, we get some familiar faces to the Resident Evil series pop up. Albert Wesker. And then the team gets chased by undead dogs, which leads to us reaching a mansion in the middle of nowhere. In the mansion, the only survivors are Chris, Jill and Wesker, as Barry, the 4th team member, is supposedly dead. A gunshot is then heard, and this is where I first take control of Chris in the game. As I start playing, I instantly grab an item called an ink ribbon, and these are important items in the game as you need them to save, so if you don't have any left over, unlucky, you're basically screwed and you have to finish the game without dying. One thing I noticed about this game, which took a while to get used to, was the movement and camera angles, as the camera was fixed so I could instantly feel I would get screwed over in the future by these fixed angles. As it was my first playthrough, I also grabbed everything I came across, like this shield, as all items become useful at some point in the game. Then I came across my first encounter, and it went as well as you'd think it would, by me being too confident in myself. Zombie! I'm gonna slice and dice this thing. Right, bitch. Well, let's do this. Get off me. You won't die. This is not good. Well, that thing's invincible. First trophy's been dying. What a great start. Now that I'd got my first trophy and restarted the game, as when you die you had to load your latest save, and I hadn't saved yet at this point. I didn't mess around on the next encounter, as I just ran away like the wuss I truly am, and returned to the main hall to find out Wesker and Jill had disappeared. Now I was ready to cause carnage with my gun as I went off exploring around the mansion. In Resident Evil games, it is important to search around in every single room you come across, as you can find useful items such as a map which helps me navigate around, and also find out which rooms I'd fully explored, as they would turn green. It was important to turn every room green for the collect all items trophy. The map also told me which doors I could go through, so I knew whereabouts in the building I needed to go. But sometimes you can end up in bad situations, like this one, where I discovered that the handgun does literally no damage on hard difficulty. Oh, what the hell? Oh. Insight. He dead? Is it dead? Why would it die? How do you get out of here? One thing I love about the Resident Evil games is the feel of progression, as you always come across areas which you can't access straight away, such as a creepy door with a weird ass noise behind it. But as I progress, I would be able to return here and unlock this door. The fact that there was always an item to get, no matter where I went, meant I was always getting myself in a bad situation, such as getting this blue gemstone, but after 1000 bullets, I eventually got My first kill. Got him. Beat a zombie. Took a few bullets though. Only got 2 bullets left. That is not good. After wasting my bullets and losing all of my health, I managed to get the blue gemstone and I started to make my way around the mansion. At this point, I also came across the main boss of the game, especially when playing with Chris. Inventory management. As I could only carry 6 items, it became a problem trying to choose which items to pick up. It was always a big decision. Once I did eventually create space, I was able to pick up some green herbs, which are healing items. You could combine different colours to create stronger healing items. Then I encountered this weird corridor room where I was able to pick up a key leading to a trap. What do I do? I'm dead. Oh my god, what the hell do I do there? Son of a... Now I had to start a while back from my last save, so it was quite punishing to die in this game if you do not save often, and I didn't really, to be honest. On my next run, I stayed well away from that room, as I clearly needed a different item, so I performed some kung fu on zombies and came across an arrow, and I remembered I came across a graveyard earlier with an arrow engraving. So I examined the arrow to take the arrowhead off and place it in the engraving, which unlocked a secret door, leading to the underpassage with a grave hanging in the air, which definitely wasn't suspicious at all. Here I picked up my first key, which is for the doors with the sword emblem, so I could now explore more parts of the mansion. I could now explore the east part of the mansion, which is a side I'd spend a lot of my time in. I came across a shotgun in a room, which I couldn't get access to, as otherwise I'd get crushed for taking it off the wall. And I also came across my first safe room, where there was storage boxes, which would allow you to place your items into them, and you could access them for any other storage box in the game. They were very useful basically. Luckily I saved at this point too, as I came across a dog, which killed me very quickly. After a lot of exploring and tight corridors filled with zombies, I came across a dog whistle with a picture of a balcony, which in my mind meant I had to blow the whistle at this location. Use that whistle, baby. Yeah, here we go. These dogs were like ninjas, by the way, jumping all over the place. Eventually I managed to pull a shot off, which led to the dog dropping a collar, and in the collar was a fake key, and I knew exactly where it needed to go. And place the other one in its place, I'm guessing. Please don't screw me over. Please don't screw me over. Please don't screw me over. Oh, yeah. Praise the Lord. As soon as I got the next key, I encountered a new enemy, which were incredibly annoying. These new enemies were called Crimson Heads, and they would spawn if you don't burn a zombie when you kill one, which I don't actually do up until my final playthrough, which meant I was always dealing with these bastards. I hate dying in this game. I then had to repeat the booby trap sequence again, and this time I made no risks. I ran straight out of the first door I came across because was I balls letting that crimson annoying ass head get me. Now I was starting to get a feel of the mansion, and I started gathering these masks which were required for advancing through this section. The first mask I obtained through destroying this plant, and another from solving this statue puzzle, in which I found myself pushing the statues around for a while. Next I came across another member of STARS called Rebecca, and then an injured officer called Richard.
What the hell happened to
Rebecca tasked me with getting a serum for Richard, so I had to run back to the other side of the mansion, into the safe room, and then return back to them. But I got a bit sidetracked on my way as these goddamn dogs made my bumhole very tight every time I passed them. Oh god. But I managed to unlock the shotgun at this point as well. When returning to Richard, it turns out I was a bit slow, as he had died. Rebecca had also disappeared, but I swiftly get on with my life and carried on my hunt for the 2 remaining masks that I needed. After a lot of exploring, I managed to create a music sheet, and Chris's Inner Beethoven came out as he stepped up to the piano. It was about as useful as Richard was earlier. Luckily Rebecca turned up who knew how to play piano, so we left her to it for a while. While waiting around, I found a painting room where I had to play around with some lights, and after managing to complete the puzzle, I found a third mask. When returning to Rebecca, she had played the full song and unlocked a secret room, which led me to finally finding the key which would lead to the final mask. But as I was heading to the room, I made some quick maneuvers around some crimson heads. Run, run, run in, run over here, run, 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 run. Bingo! Seeing red, see you later, my friend. And now I could enter the next room of the mansion. Here we go. This is a fort. A big ass snake. What's that? Oh, it's the last mask. Ah, shit on it. I'm gonna die here. How am I not dead? I get it. I got it. I did it. Get in. That wasn't too hard. Not waiting to exhale. Now that I had gathered all of the masks, I could start making quicker progress through the game. Now, as I entered a dungeon area and started putting the masks into engravings, which lowered a suspicious coffin. Oh god, I've got one hit left. And no ammo. I'm out of ammo. There we go. Luckily, I saved the game before this fight, so I returned quickly, but this time, I was more prepared. Right. 19. I got 25 shotgun shells. I'm gonna lay that into this motherfucker. I get it. That was easy. The shotgun was a bit overpowered for this boss fight. I had now managed to get this stone and metal object, which gave me a trophy, and I knew straight away where it was supposed to go. Using this object had unlocked the courtyard area of the game, where a new enemy was lurking around. The hell is that noise? I found this cabin, which was a bit creepy, but I found the crank located inside it, which was a valuable item to have. As I was leaving the cabin, some weird stuff started to happen. What the hell was that? Frick is this thing? I don't remember this. The hell I'm fighting it. I don't know if I can kill her, so see ya. I ain't hanging around where I ain't wanted. So as it turns out, I can't kill this enemy, so I just had to run away with the crank. As I was backtracking, I used some items I found in the mansion earlier to unlock the Magnum, which was a very powerful weapon, especially against bosses. Then I managed to use the crank to lower the water levels, which gave me access further into the courtyard, and it led to the next main area of the game, the residence. The first item I came across was a blue herb, which was a sign of the things to come, because if you know Resident Evil games, the blue herb is for healing poison, and I got my first taste of the enemy with the poison guts. The frick was that? There was also giant spiders too. Now that I was getting deeper into the game, I was starting to have issues with inventory management again. So I found myself at an item box a lot of the time, trying to reorganize. As I was exploring, I also discovered what the boss of this area would be. Well, so we're going to fight a plant. As I delved even further into the residence, I entered an underground facility type of place where another new enemy appeared. Fucking sharks. The hell? I managed to escape the sharks, but I then entered a room which made a lot of noise, and it made me run around for a while trying to figure out what to do. But all I had to do was press a bunch of buttons to drain the water where the sharks are, and I cut it pretty close. Yes, holy balls, I just did that. That was tense. With the water drained, all of the sharks laid there helplessly, and there was one shark that stood out to me. That's one big boy. Yes. Oh, what's in here? Ooh. Great. No way. Oh, Miles back. Oh, I probably wasted like loads of time there. Oh my god, actually have. What a joke. As you could tell, I wasn't too happy with what just happened, as I had to restart at my last save, which was when I first entered the residence. So I got my game face on and speed ran through the area, and I got back to the big shark pretty quick, and this time I wasn't going to jump into electrified water. Now that I look back on it, I don't know why I did that. I managed to get a key from the shark, which led to a new part of the residence, and I eventually came across a naked woman puzzle, which led to the boss of this area. Okay, I won the boss. Rebecca's here. Where the hell did she come from? Oh, I'm not going to play as Rebecca. So now I was playing as Rebecca, and I had to save Chris from the giant plants. In order to do this, I had to go into this lab to create a chemical that would destroy the plants. After a lot of mistakes of combining different things, I found some instructions which made it fairly straightforward to create the chemical, and once I made it, I had to return underground and throw it at the plant's roots. This didn't actually kill the plant though, as I entered a boss fight using Chris again, and it's safe to say I was cutting it close like usual. Oh. Save Chris using Rebecca. Nice. We're sort of fighting it. Oh god. I get it. Jesus. I honestly thought I was going to die there. And that would have been a hell of annoying. After defeating Plant 42, I had unlocked the final key for the mansion, which meant I had to backtrack, so we said our goodbyes to Rebecca, and we also bumped into Wesker, who was just as suspicious and blunt as he normally is. Wesker told us that he got separated from Jill and that we need to find her by exploring further into the mansion. So I returned to the mansion to come across one of the stronger enemy types in the game. The hell? Yeah, I remember them things, they were hell annoying. This is where the fun begins. Now that I returned to the mansion, I can now access the remaining rooms, such as this one where I had to push a statue onto a pedestal while the walls close in. It took me a while to figure this one out. From these new rooms, I would find new items such as the Eagle Medallion, which would be useful later on. One of the new rooms I entered also triggered a missable trophy opportunity, as Rebecca screamed and I had to go rescue her from a hunter, and once I did, a trophy popped for me.
Rebecca.
After some more exploring, I came across the giant snake again, who I just obliterated with the shotgun. Get it. Ha 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 ha. You stupid son of a snake. I got you. After this fight, I found the second medallion, which gave me another trophy. Another item I found in the room after the snake was the battery, which I had been waiting to find as I knew exactly where it went in the courtyard. Once placing it in the courtyard, I was then able to lower the water level and enter a new area of the game, which was just underground the courtyard. In this area, we start to get deeper into the mystery of the double crosser, but I had already knew exactly who it was. What's this?
Don't come any closer, Chris.
The hell's Enrico?
Wait.
What?
Enrico!
Wesker. I also received another crank at this point, which allowed me to go further into the underground. But before I could go further, I learned why so many people despise hunters, as I got my head sliced clean off. Luckily, I learned from past mistakes and I had just saved the game though. Moving on from that death, I made my way through the tunnels to find a flamethrower, and then some Indiana Jones type of stuff happened. To then come across another boss, and it's safe to say the flamethrower does bits. Flamethrower melted. Holy balls. but it was on limited use, so I couldn't use it any longer. After some further exploring, I managed to unlock the lift and go even deeper, which actually led back to this thing, and it turns out she was called Lisa Trevor. If you don't know Umbrella, they're a very messed up company. In order to get past this part, I had to enter a back room and push this box onto an elevator, which would eventually get crushed, giving me another flamethrower, which I could then place on a locking mechanism to get through this part of the game. At this point, I made sure to pick up this jewellery box, as it had the next important item which I needed, and we ended up in Lisa Trevor's cabin. I then placed the 2 stone and metal objects into the door at the back of the main entrance room, which would then lead to an actual showdown with our good friend Lisa.
Take a piece of the action.
Lisa's going down. I'll push these off. Where did Wesker go? Then got access to another courtyard area, where I could use the medallion from earlier to unlock the final area of the game, the laboratory. This area wasn't massive, but there was an important task I needed to do in order to get a missable trophy. And I had to open this big door with 3 red lights, and it took me a while to figure out what to do. And while figuring it out, I completed a bunch of puzzles which allow me to advance further into the area, such as this X-ray puzzle, which would give me a code to open other doors. Eventually I came across these discs, which I had one already, and I realised these must do something, and at this point I had a total of 3. I just didn't have a clue what to do with them, until I came across this computer type of thing, which once placing a disc in it, it lit up a green light on that big, strange door. So it was obvious I had to find 2 more. But before that, I had to transfer some fuel across the laboratory, and this happened. Well, wow, that was a waste of my time. Luckily, I didn't spawn too far back, but it's safe to say I had a few problems with walking with this fuel, as if anything happened, I just blew up. I run, I blow up. I shoot, I blow up. It was just no end. I had to basically tiptoe. Oh my god, I just realised I fucked up. Massively. You idiot. It's in the first room. On my 4th attempt, I did manage to finally place the fuel into the correct place, and I could move on, in which we met up with Rebecca, and then we had an encounter with Wesker. Wesker. Yep, there we go.
Since when?
It's magnificent.
They get it. Can't be that easy. Turns out it was that easy, and after defeating the tyrants, Rebecca set up the whole place to blow. I had one thing I had to do first, and that was accessing that big door. So I installed the other 2 discs on the computers and headed through the door. Fuck this shit, I'm out. Oh.
Jill?
Chris!
Save Jill. I was escaping. I then headed down a bunch of hallways and ended up in an elevator as I prepared myself for the final boss. Let's do this. One task I had been doing throughout my playthrough was making sure I collect every item in the game, which would turn the room green on the map. And I managed to pick up the trophy for doing this as soon as I entered the final room of the game. Let's do this. Every nook and cranny. To all places and all maps. Nice. Now all that was left to do was place the flares down to call a helicopter and finish that big boy off. Here we go. Holy shitballs. Yeah, missed me, bitch. Got him.
Chris, use it.
Get it.
Kill it, whatever it is.
Get it. Get the rocket. Say hello to my little friend. Son of a bitch. You don't mind, Chris. Rebecca and Jill. Game done. Get in. Kaboom. Oh yeah.
Chris, you did a fine job.
Ooh, taking bait. Oh, very easy. Normal. Easy. Hey. Got hard difficulties to do though. Now that I finished my first playthrough, I was now ready to grind out the rest of the trophies. And this started with playing through the game with Jill. Now I won't be talking about a story as it is very similar to Chris's, as there's only a few small changes, such as working with Barry instead of Rebecca. For this playthrough I was also going for the knife only run, but I decided to choose the scrub difficulty. But before I started this playthrough, I made sure to turn use auto defense items off, as using them would mess the knife only run up. Now that's explained, let's get started. As I started making my way through the mansion, I realised one thing about the knife. The knife's fucking shit. As I was speedrunning, one bonus I noticed with Jill is that she has more inventory space. Hallelujah. So from now on, I decided I would become a simp for Jill for the rest of this platinum run. The hardest part of this knife only run was killing these goddamn dogs. Oh, what? Oh. Oh, I am miles away. This bit was literally so annoying. I could not literally get a knife fit in. It was very frustrating. Yeah, I'm just getting upset and depressed thinking about it. So, yeah. Just look, this is how it went. Oh, I'm dead. How do you do it? Oh my god, man. I got it. I hit it once. This is stupid. What the actual frick? Oh my god, get off me. Stupid dog. Ah! I hit it twice. My record is 2. 2 times. Come back, bitch. 5. I got it! Yes! Call me the slice and dice champion. There were some missable trophies which I was looking out for on this run, as I missed them on my first time. And I managed to get a trophy at the part where you come across Richard, who needs a serum to save his life. In order to do this, I just had to run straight to the serum, and then back to Richard without going on any other route. After collecting all of the masks, the first boss starts, which is the first prototype Crimson Head, and I just knew this would be hard on knife only, but I went full on tryhard mode, dodging and weaving around like the boss I am. I mean, just look at my concentration face. After a lot of hits, and I mean a lot, I finally defeated it, which gave me a trophy. These type of story and boss trophies will be common throughout this playthrough, due to it being my first time playing as Jill. I managed to get through this run fairly quick, as I knew my way around, and I also knew the answers to the puzzles. I managed to reach the residence fairly quick, and I didn't need to fight Plant 42. As with Jill, once you throw the V-Jolt onto it, Barry handles the rest. And after that, I got my next trophy for getting the helmet key. Next, I returned to the mansion and started cleaning up the remaining items to reach the end of the game. But there was a big ass snake in my way, which I had to deal with first. Here we go. Knife versus snake time, baby. Knife, 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 knife. Got him. That was pretty easy. A lot of hits though. A lot of slicing and dicing. Giant snake got nothing on me. And for the rest of the run, time flew by, as only 30 minutes later, I had reached Lisa Trevor, where I got an important choice to save Barry or not. I mean, I'll do it. I'm going for the save everyone achievement trophy. I then picked up a trophy for reaching the laboratory section with Jill. Now that I was in the final area, this was the quickest area of the game, as I knew the codes for the doors, and I also knew the locations to open the cell door, which this time, it was Chris that we saved for a trophy. I then headed to the final boss to finish my second run. Rocket!
Use it. Kill it.
I think I have to use it, so this shouldn't affect my knife run. Oh shit, Jesus, where do you come from? Time to die! Son of a bitch. Alpha's team finest. Knife only, please. Yes. Where's the knife only? No way!
Bill, you did a fine job.
Oh god, thank you. 4 hours 54 minutes, that's not bad. Right, I could easily do the speedruns, I think. And I was right, as I also got the trophies for finishing the game in under 5 hours, then another trophy for finishing the game with both Chris and Jill. Next up was my third playthrough, and this time I was going to complete the game on Real Survivor mode, which is just a harder difficulty, but because I'm an experienced player, it wasn't much of a problem for me. I decided to play as Jill again because she is the best choice, and one thing I noticed about this mode is that you get significantly less increments. Oh, and one other thing, storage boxes wouldn't share your items with other storage boxes, meaning you basically only had one box for the full game. And this is why Jill is the elite choice for this run. One trophy I missed previously involved getting saved from Barry as Jill, and all I had to do to get this was grab the shotgun weapon off the wall to activate the ceiling trap, and that triggers a cutscene of Barry saving Jill. That's all. Pretty easy if you ask me. There isn't a lot to talk about with this run, but there was some important choices I made, such as not saving Barry. See you later, Barry. You dead as hell. And I also chose not to save Chris from his cell, as I need to complete the game with Jill without saving anyone. I managed to accomplish this, by the way, as I reached the end of the game, and because I didn't save anyone, there was no final tyrant fight. I also got 2 more trophies for completing the game on both Hard and Real Survivor. Completing Real Survivor had unlocked a final mode for me, which was Invisible Enemy mode, and yes, it was exactly as it sounds. I decided to play through on very easy because I've had a tough time recently, especially with them dogs. And I also played as Chris so that I could choose to be an arsehole and not save anyone as him. Invisible Enemy mode was a bit weird as I couldn't see the enemies, but it was still easier as with the bosses your character would auto lock the aim, so you couldn't miss really. So I basically power my way through this run due to it being on very easy. I even got the opportunity to do some aura farming. Look at him, he's like, I'm like, you get Chad. You don't mess with me. You don't fuck with me. Otherwise I'll fuck you in the ass. That's what he's saying right now. When finishing the game, I picked up a trophy for not saving anyone, then completing Invisible mode, and I also managed to get the under 3 hours trophy, which meant I'd got all the speedrun trophies. And also got a trophy for unlocking all of the costumes by completing every single mode. Next, I plan to clean up miscellaneous trophies, which I somehow hadn't obtained yet. And these were for burning a zombie, which I got easily, but I also had to burn 2 zombies at once, which I found an absolute ball ache to do, as I just couldn't position them right. Even with them positioned over each other, it just wouldn't work. I think it was just luck of the draw, to be honest. But I found the best thing to do is to try pile 3 zombies up, as you get a better chance of burning 2 of them. It seemed to work for me. And all that remains is 2 trophies. One for completing the game without saving, and the other for unlocking every weapon. For the every weapon trophy, I had to do a speedrun in under 3 hours again, but on normal difficulty to unlock the infinite rocket launcher. So off I went to play through the game one last time, and I even started reminiscing on parts I enjoyed. Oh wow. Oh, that was close. I hate that bit. That's the worst bit of the game done. As you can imagine, I got through this run with no problems, securing that no save trophy as I waited for the platinum to drop. Unfortunately, there was one more weapon I hadn't obtained yet, which was the Riot shotgun, but luckily it was easy to obtain, as all I had to do was save Richard again, and then when I fought the giant snake, he would come into the room and drop the weapon. And this should give me the platinum. Please. I didn't take it last time, did I? Press yes. Yes! Starsenal. And the platinum splatinum. Get in. All the trophies done. That wraps up the platinum for Resident Evil, the first game in a fantastic series. The platinums in Resident Evil games are always fun to get, and I plan to get all of the Resident Evil platinums at some point, especially with the 9th installment coming out. I've already got 4, 7 and 8, so I've just got to do some other things. Anyway, if you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel to see more platinum trophy content. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.